Hello, this is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. Please hit that like button, share, and subscribe. Today's video is regarding Caleb Harris, a Texas A&M student out of Corpus Christi who went missing back on March 4th, the early morning hours of March 4th. Apparently, somebody's found an iPhone 12 that law enforcement now has possession of, and they are interested in it. Let me show you the Facebook post. So this lady here named Naomi Jamie, phone found at Packery Jetty on June 6th at 8:30. Please share. The back is pretty cracked up. This is just like, a place where somebody's posting about a phone they found, and if anybody knows whose it is, come pick it up. But then there's an update that says, as of 10:14 a.m., the phone is out of my possession. I think it meant possession. At CCPD has the phone. So Corpus Christi Police Department. And they've been contacted to come by and pick up the phone at 8:13 a.m. So sounds like they picked it up and are interested in that phone. And it's an iPhone 12. Apparently that's the same type that Caleb Harris had. Now let me show you where they're saying it was found in this Packery channel, somewhere around in this area here. And if you remember, this is where Caleb Harris went missing from, right around in this area. There is a little bit of a little small canal there. I don't know if it leads out all the way. I mean, it seems like it'd be pretty difficult to make its way all the way over here. So that might just be where the phone was tossed at some point. We don't know. I mean, there's a bridge right here that the phone could have been thrown off, and I'm not sure how phones do in the water. Do they float, sink? I've never taken my cell phone and thrown it in the water on purpose. Who the hell would do that? But anyways, let's go back over this case again. So Caleb Harris, and he was a junior in environmental sciences. So keep that name, that degree name in your mind. Environmental science. Loves fishing and hunting. Loves clothing. Wants to be sponsored. Wants to be a kayak guide. Working on getting a license there. Work in Colorado in the summer coming up. That's what he's about to do. He liked to fish. And he was actually going to go fishing the same day that he went missing. Roommate says their hearts are broken. They grew up with each other since 4th grade. And, the thing is, it appears that Caleb Harris was on a Reddit dating site that he would sometimes switch over to, like Snapchat, like meet somebody on Reddit and then switch over to Snapchat, something like that. So the timeline is at 10:30 p.m. They had just got the dog. There's a new dog at the residence that you'll see. There's a video of him actually walking the dog with some friends, or the dog's outside. That was on, so at 11:53 p.m. There's a picture of the dog sent to the mom, his mom and uncle. And it wasn't his dog, I don't believe. But the facts about the dog are irrelevant in terms of who owns the dog. Then on March 4th, early morning hour at 1 o'clock in the morning, Harris is on Ring doorbell camera. And here's that footage right here. So there's Caleb Harris in the yellow hat there in the front. And this is in the apartment complex. They're playing with the dog, letting it walk around. And then they go back inside their apartment, likely at that moment. And that was at 1 a.m. And then at 2:15 a.m., if you look at this name, Outside Physics, and apparently this is Caleb's Reddit account. And remember, environmental science, Outside Physics. So that gives you some indication that it's very similar. And it is him. I mean, it was actually pointed out as being his Reddit account. And then it was removed from the Facebook group because the parents didn't want it out there. And look at this. It says Oso Bay Hiking Trail. And this is a site for sex right here. This was a a Reddit group where you meet up with somebody and then you can then start doing private communications, maybe on a place like Snapchat. And he says Oso Bay Hiking Trail, and it's male for anyone down here, so either female or male. And the time on this is 12:15 a.m. on the 4th, but it's 2 hours different. This is Pacific Standard Time, and that would make it 2:15 in the morning. He was looking to hook up with somebody that exact morning. And then by 2:20 a.m., the roommate goes to sleep on a couch, and Caleb is awake preparing for his fishing trip in that very same day, and says he's going to order Uber Eats. And then at 2:44 a.m., so I mean, you know, all this stuff is like a half hour after he's already posted on Reddit, Caleb takes the dog for a walk in the complex, and then he sends a Snapchat to his sister. And then at 2:45 a.m., just after sending the Snapchat to his sister, he orders Uber Eats, and he got 2 Lunchables, a Red Bull, and apple pie, and I guess that was very typical of Caleb. And then at 2:58 a.m., his phone either turns off or dies. And then at 3:03 a.m., he sent a Snapchat to a friend, so I'm not really sure how that took place. Here is the Snapchat to a friend, and here is the image. There's a bridge right there, and there's a little bit of a canal, and that shot is right over here. This is the apartment complex, and right here is where that shot is. Now, I don't think there's a, you can't really see it from right there, but if you go right here, you can see there's a path, and then it kind of curves to the left, and then there's the water, and that's exactly what we have right here. See the angle there, and then the bridge, there's grass, then the canal. It's actually a little easier even up in the air to see that angle if you go down just like that, basically. So that picture was taken about right here. See, there you go. And that was at 3:03. And then at 3:12 a.m., the phone pings on William Drive. Law enforcement doesn't believe it's a valid ping, however. And then at 3:20 a.m., the Uber Eats actually shows up, and it was a young lady, and she's been cleared. She doesn't see Caleb, but sees another vehicle leaving the parking lot. The person leaving was located and determined not to be involved. That person lives in San Antonio and was just visiting his girlfriend. And he's believed not to be involved. He actually saw the Uber Eats driver enter the complex. Then at 3:35 a.m., there was a possible sighting 0.8 miles down the road under a bridge. Apartments searched early on to determine if he left willingly, and they found nothing nefarious. Law enforcement is wondering why he left on foot on an extremely foggy night. Yeah, so it's just a really strange situation with Caleb Harris, except I actually 100% believe that Reddit post is why he's missing currently. You know, what happened to him, I do not know. And it'd be really interesting if that is his phone way over here, because I don't know if it could naturally make its way over there, but then you sort of wonder about this bridge late at night. You know, did something happen over here at the Oso Bay Wetland Preserve? This is where he wanted to meet up with somebody. If we go back to the post here, it said Oso Bay Hiking Trail, and that's right here. So there's a parking spot here. He did have bare feet, but I would imagine, you know, it's pretty warm in the area, and he maybe didn't expect to be getting out of the vehicle that he possibly got in to meet up with somebody. So maybe somebody picked him up, and they drove somewhere. He likely never even made it to this area here. So here's the hiking trail parking spot, and they've checked this whole park. They were looking for him here. So that gives more credibility to that Reddit post as well. But let's say something nefarious happened to him, and then after that, the person drove out here and perhaps, you know, put him in the water going over this bridge late at night. There's no cars around. There's no cameras perhaps on the bridge. Let's see what it looks like. Yeah, I mean, maybe there are some cameras placed somewhere on here, but I would imagine if you pulled over and threw somebody off, I don't know if that would actually work, because this side has beach, so that actually wouldn't really work on that side. Maybe on the other side, but you know, who knows how or what happened to Caleb Harris. His parents are very religious, so this type of information isn't something that they're willing to discuss, but in my opinion, I think it's very important that the public is aware and able to, you know, a lot of people out there have had contact with different people, use Reddit and so forth, and I think if they come forward with some information that they might have regarding, you know, that Reddit account or anybody else that might have seemed suspicious on there. And I don't mean like, you know, maybe they've even met up with Caleb before, and you know, there's other people on there that are predators that seek those individuals. Yeah, so you kind of wonder, when he was in the apartment, the dog that he was walking at 2:45, the same new dog that they just got, he obviously would have brought the dog back to the apartment because they found it there. Then he must have left again. And it's interesting because that's 2:45, 2:44 actually is when he took the walk, and then 2:45 he ordered the Uber Eats, and then at 2:58 his phone apparently turns off. Now, is this when he actually already had brought the dog back and then went outside to meet up with this person, and immediately his phone had to be turned off? But what's weird about that is his phone turns off or dies, but then at 3:03 he sends a Snapchat to a friend. So was that a Snapchat that was sent before and finally went through at 3:03, or was the phone turned back on? Or maybe the phone just lost connection to cell towers at 2:58 and wasn't actually turned off, but I think they believe that it was turned off. And at 3:12 it kind of pings over here to the left, kind of over in this area a little bit. And it just sort of pings over here, but they don't know, but you know, that ping doesn't necessarily mean anything to them. They said pings on Williams Drive. Law enforcement doesn't believe it's a valid ping. Okay, but doesn't it mean his phone was on, though, if it's still connecting to something? So then we just go back to the fact that he was on Reddit. He posted about meeting up with somebody, a hookup, if you will. And that was at 2:15 is when he put the post up. So then obviously it would take a while. I bet you if you asked his roommates, I bet you he was on his cell phone texting like all kids do. But, 2:15 in the morning and later, that's pretty late to be just sitting there texting somebody. But perhaps not in college or on, just a young person. But he made the post at 2:15. You could imagine somebody replying maybe by 2:30. Then they set up a time, maybe 3 o'clock, to meet up. They'll pick up Caleb perhaps over by this bridge area here. Maybe they'll come by on this side, so he's just walking out, and then he'd run across and get into the car, because then it would eventually drive down here, apparently, and then maybe go to the trails here where he wanted to meet, the Oso Bay hiking trail. And there's the parking spot. I guess we could take a look at that, see what it looks like in here. Yeah, so right here. So maybe that was just where they were going to hook up, do whatever they were going to do, and then, he'd be dropped off back at home. But that's not what happened here. Something more nefarious happened. And I wish I had more information about actually what the pings and, the Snapchat at 3:03, the 3:12 ping they don't believe is legit, but wouldn't his phone have to be on to just do anything? Or are there ghost pings? Like, once you turn off your phone, there's still this pinging going on that, happens. I don't see that at all. So this is one of those really baffling stories. I hope that is his iPhone 12 that was found. That would actually help a lot, and then law enforcement would be able to take the phone, get into it, and use Celebrite or whatever hell they're going to use, and determine all the different things that Caleb was doing, who he was communicating with. And despite the parents not wanting this type of information out there, I think it's important for law enforcement and actually the larger community to know. We've already talked about this many times, but I think it's very important for them to know that this is going on, and people using those sites might have other insight into what's going on, and maybe possibly somebody they've met up with that was creepy in the area and they got lucky perhaps and got away. I think that would be interesting. But at 2:15, that Reddit post is what directly led to him being missing currently. It's the only thing that makes sense. Nothing really made sense before. It was almost like, kind of like in the Sebastian Rogers case, where Sebastian just sort of vanished. But now, in this case, because of that Reddit post, maybe there's something similar in the Sebastian Rogers case, where if they had that piece of information, it would lead them down a different path. This case has that path. Yeah, and this is more indication that that Reddit is true. Oh, I think we got the clue. Sorry, it's out there. Can't take it back now. Speculation continues. I want to make this clear. No account has been confirmed to be Caleb's. Well, the thing is it was confirmed to be Caleb by the same person here, and then they were told to take it down by the family, so now they're doing a retraction post. And so it really is reality that, and again, the name, environmental science, and look at that. Right there, Monday, March 4th, 2024 at 2:15 a.m. So I hope they get some answers soon, and I really hope that that is his iPhone, and maybe that'll help law enforcement figure out exactly what's going on, because obviously on Reddit, if he communicated with somebody after making that post, there should be either text messages or some way to get into an account. They probably would need to get a subpoena to get Snapchat records to be able to figure out what the IP address was of the person he ended up communicating with. Okay, so thank you all very much for watching this video, and I hope the family gets some answers soon. This must be absolutely devastating for them to have a child that's been missing for so long, with seemingly without a trace after he went missing, although there are some strong clues. And there's also one more thing regarding Caleb Harris's phone. Apparently it appears to have turned back on, but law enforcement is likely responsible for that by cloning his phone. It says, more than 3 months have passed since the disappearance of Texas A&M Corpus Christi student Caleb Harris, and detectives are providing new information regarding recent activity on his phone. According to Corpus Christi detectives, the recent apparent reactivation of Harris's phone is likely the result of an investigative technique employed by forensic computer examiners. They clarified that this activity does not indicate that Harris himself has restarted the phone. Caleb Harris, a 21-year-old student from Braunfels, was last seen in early March near his apartment in Corpus Christi. Despite ongoing efforts, investigators have yet to uncover his whereabouts. And let's see what it says here.
Within 3 months since the Texas A&M Corpus Christi student disappeared, now Corpus Christi detectives are giving an update on recent activity on Caleb Harris's phone. They say apparent reactivation of the phone is very likely because of an investigative technique that they're using that's being used by forensic computer examiners. It's not a sign that his phone has restarted or that he has done it. The activity caught the attention of some people who've been following the case on social media and online. Caleb Harris is a 21-year-old from New Braunfels. He was last seen in early March near his apartment in Corpus Christi. Investigators are still asking anyone with information to bring it to police right away.
Families in
So there you have it. The activity that people have noticed on Caleb Harris's phone was likely caused by law enforcement. But it's also pretty cool that the online community noticed that his phone was active by following the case. All right, everybody, thank you very much for watching. And as I always say, hey, could you guys hit that like button? Just hit the like button right now. It's the easiest thing in the world. And as I always say, everybody, until next time, be safe out there.